that has created a little bit of a new process for me. I got like a 4-thing checklist for each of the picks that I'm making now. I'm going to see if this gets me back into the green and I can pull a quick 5-0 and turn my season around. So let's get started with the first game. In the first game, I have the Packers versus the Vikings. The Vikings are 2.5-point dogs at home, and I am taking the Packers to cover -2.5. The Packers defense has been lights out right now. And that's a problem for a Minnesota defense that has been disappointing, to be nice, all season. Like, they are clamoring over getting Patrick Peterson's back off IR this week. That's how desperate this team is. Right? The Packers are top 3 in opponents' points per game and yards per game. The Vikings are somehow 1-3 against the spread at home this season. So I am actually really liking this pick. How do you all feel about Packers v Vikings? Who are y'all taking?
Love that pick. Love the Packers in that game. I didn't know the thing about the Vikings being so bad against the spread at home, which is interesting. So I love that pick, and definitely think that Green Bay's defense can carry them, and really just the offense has to step up, which has usually not been the case when talking about Green Bay. So that's interesting.
T.O.?
I like the pick as well, but I'm gonna go Vikes.
Okay.
And I don't know, man. They gotta turn the page. And I think the Pack are due for an L as well. So
Okay, I will say that people who are betting on this game, take a look at the weather report before you put in your final bet. It is expected to rain and snow Sunday morning in Minnesota, which could lead to a big run-heavy game where Minnesota has Dalvin Cook and the Packers are down to only A.J. Dillon. So I will keep that in mind. Now let's move on to the next pick. I got the Colts versus the Bills. The Bills are 7.5-point favorites at home. I am taking the Indianapolis Colts as dogs. I can't really say this in another way besides the fact that I think the Colts are going to expose the Bills. I've been saying that the Bills are fraudulent for a while now. And like, to be fair, they have had some good wins, like against Kansas City, before we figured out that people thought Kansas City was kind of bad. But over the last couple of games, they played Miami twice, Washington, Houston, Jacksonville, and the Jets. They lost one of those games. So, like, it's not like the Bills are crushing people because they're playing bad teams for the most part. And the Colts are probably the best team that they have faced in a while. So the Colts are 3-1 against the spread as an away underdog this season, and 4-2 against the spread as an underdog, period. Jonathan Taylor has been a monster this season, and it's looking like it's going to be a cold and rainy day in Buffalo. And I like that for the Colts, who have been able to run the ball effectively, versus the Bills, who have had trouble establishing the run, especially in the latter half of the season. Where are y'all at on the Colts v. Bills? What's up, Sam?
I like the Colts covering the spread. I'm glad none of us had Josh Allen in our MVP candidate conversation because I agree with you. Their schedule has been super easy the last couple of weeks, and the fact that Vegas has him with the highest MVP or the best MVP odds right now is just kind of weird to me. I don't think he's going to end up even replicating what he did last year. Didn't win MVP. So regarding this week, I like what you said about Jonathan Taylor, especially kind of exposing some holes in this Bills defense that has been good up to this point in this season, but playing against offenses that are not great. So I like them covering the spread.
yeah.
You with it too?
I'm honestly gonna go with you guys on this one, and for the simple fact that if you think about it, think back a couple weeks when King Henry was still on Titans healthy and what they did to that Bills team. Ran the ball down their throat. So, and the Colts have been running the ball very well, like you said, with Jonathan Taylor. And then they also have Naheem Hines coming out the backfield as well. So, honestly, I think Jonathan Taylor's going to have a big day, and I think the Colts will cover the spread. I think.
All right, we run into the third game, and this one's more of a pick'em. The Bengals are playing the Raiders at home, and the Raiders are actually 1.5-point dogs at home. and I am taking the Bengals as a 1.5 point road favorite. Look, the Raiders seem to be collapsing. Like they got all they can't go a week without having something new in the news that they got to be distracted by. Like this last week, they got Gruden now suing the NFL after the Damon Arnett thing, after the Henry Ruggs thing, after the first Gruden thing. Like it's kind of been a disaster for them. And the Bengals are so far a team that scores more points and gives up less points, three both ways than them. And the Raiders still are having trouble establishing the run. I like the Bengals coming off a bye, having focused on the Raiders for the last 2 weeks versus a Raiders team that feels like they're a little bit distracted. Where are y'all at on this one? What's up, TL?
Yeah, I agree with you. I like the Bengals. I think they're going to be playing better ball than the Raiders as of late as well. Like you said, a lot of distractions. I definitely like the Bengals to cover this week. I feel like they still have a point to prove and they're still playing for something. So I like the Bengals for sure at this point in the season for sure. I like them against the Raiders.
Feel any different, Sam?
I agree with y'all. I will say that I bet against the Raiders the week the Gruden shit happened and they won. So take that with some caution. But I agree. I like the Bengals. I like the Bengals against them specifically. So I agree.
All right, this next one is the game of the week by far, and it's the Dallas Cowboys versus the Kansas City Chiefs. And the Kansas City Chiefs are 3 point favorites at home, and I have no ever living clue how the Dallas Cowboys are dogs going against Kansas City and at 3 points at that. So I'm taking Dallas +3. People are overbuying the Chiefs returns. I know they've won 3 in a row, but they have done that against not very good teams, the Raiders, the Giants, uh, and the Packers without Aaron Rodgers, right? The Dallas scores the most points in the league. Kansas City scores the 10th most points. The Dallas defense is 10 spots higher in points given up per game than the Kansas City defense. Dallas is also 8-1 against the spread this season. The Chiefs are 3-7. The best stat here is the Chiefs are 0-5 against the spread as a home favorite this season, meaning they have covered 0 times. This actually might be my safest game of the week, which is usually always the pick I get wrong. But Dallas +3. Where y'all at? Sam, what's good?
Agree. Think people are buying way too much into Mahomes' great performance from last week and think that will automatically just carry over. I think that my defensive player of the year, Trevon Diggs, will pick off Mahomes at least once, and on the way to a Dallas victory, not only covering the spread but winning the game. So I think that all of the stats that you listed for how Kansas City has performed against the spread, especially at home this year, just make me not want to like. Why would I bet? Why would I bet knowing that?
It's a sucker's bet.
It is.
It's a sucker's bet. They're like, oh, everybody loves Dallas. They're so good. And everybody loves the Chiefs. They've been so good so long. And people love betting the Chiefs as a favorite. All right. So, Tio, where are you at on the Dallas Kansas City game?
Yeah, I'm definitely with both of y'all. Dallas is going to cover this. I mean, to me, Dallas might put a whooping on the Chiefs. Like no shot at the Chiefs, but the Dallas defense has been, overperforming at times during the season. And they make plays, when it matters. Just the Chiefs, sometimes they make plays when it matters, but just like I said last week, it's too much firepower on that Cowboys team, and they're playing well. They're a well-oiled machine right now. And the Chiefs, they're well, what should I say? They're the best part of the team is the offense, and they haven't been looking that good. So at the end of the day, I feel like the Cowboys. I mean, man, they might win by 14 plus potentially.
Okay, that's a big
bold.
one.
Yeah,
Okay, that's a big one. All right, look, I'm gonna move us into the last pick for this week, and I had a little bit of trouble picking number 5 here, but I settled on the Saints versus the Eagles. The Eagles are 1.5-point favorites at home, and I am taking the Saints as a 1.5-point underdog. Saints plus 1.5. Alvin Kamara has been seen back in practice this week. I think that's going to give them a huge boost and give them a lot more offense. And we know this is actually what the Saints team has been struggling to provide lately, especially since Jameis went down. It's points, it's getting down the field, it's scoring with the opportunities that they do have down the field. And they still play Tennessee close without him, only losing by 2 points. So Philly has actually been a team that is better than a lot of people think, but that's because their run game is really good. Right? They are exceptional at the run. They have the second highest run percentage in the NFL, and they are top 5 in yards per rush, yards per game, and rushing touchdowns. They are 28th and 27th in completion percentage for passes and passing yards a game. NOLA has one of the best run defenses in the league. They are first in opponents' yards per rush, first in opponents' yards per game at only 73 yards a game. NOLA only gives up 73 rushing yards a game. I like that. The Saints are also 3-0 against the spread after a loss. 4-0 against the spread as an underdog this season. Eagles are only 1-3 against the spread at home. I am taking the Saints plus 1.5. Where are we at, Sam?
Agree. I think that the defense, Sean Payton's game plan, and Kamara carry them to a win. And I would also be interested to see what Sean Payton's record is like over the years, like record after a loss. Because I bet that that's not just a thing this season. They game plan really well, and I just think that they'll have success against the Eagles.
IATO, where you at?
Yeah, I had to agree with you on this one. I had to go with the Saints. Like you said, for the simple fact that the Eagles won't be able to run the ball. And when you make Jalen Hurts and the Eagles have to pass the ball to beat you, they're just simply not going to be able to get it done, honestly. The Saints, they also have some good corners as well. So it's not like, hey, yeah, we're going to be able to stop the run. But if you air it out, like the Bucs defense, for example, you air it out on us, you might have some success. But with them, hey, we got Marshawn Lattimore. We got Gardner Johnson. We got Malcolm Jenkins. We got guys, even, Demario Davis can cover. So, we can stop the run and we can stop the pass. So against a team like the Eagles, I don't think it'll be a problem covering this at all. I mean, the only problem for me is Trevor Siemian.
Thanks for stopping by. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to drop a like, leave a subscribe so you don't miss any of our content.